last time these two teams faced, it was a pretty lopsided playoff series, one could say.
One could say, perhaps.
A lot of it had to do with this jungle matchup. We know that Griffin has a great amount of respect for Inspired, and Inspired has a great amount of respect for Griffin, too. Like, he was like, you know what? Griffin does the right thing. The execution might be a little off.
He does the right thing wrong.
And I may have read you like a book, but... so yeah, I'm really curious to see how these two go up head-to-head now, because I feel like Griffin has learned a lot from facing Inspired and Blabber, and we've already seen it in his game.
He'll definitely be looking forward to this one. I'm watching Isles, though. You see that? Like, we need Isles to wake up. He definitely looked a little bit asleep still. It's past 2 p.m., so hopefully he's a wide awake.
Past 2 p.m. Wait, is that morning?
Yeah.
Is that
gamer hours? Gamer hours.
Are you talking about gamer hours right now?
It's well past 2 p.m., so he should be awake.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
It's well past 2 p.m., so he might just be waking up still.
Let's go ahead and clock where we are in the draft, as Karma, Jarvan, and Caitlyn have been banned out by LYON. FlyQuest banning out the Varus, Xin Zhao, and Pantheon. It's Nocturne and Lucian drafted by LYON, while FlyQuest have brought themselves the Orianna, which is almost always banned, and Senna and Nautilus here for the bot lane.
Orianna, when you're giving it up, though, you know you want to attack a low mobility carry in the side lanes, and they already have the Nocturne, so maybe they go with the Saint Akali or something like that to put the extra pressure on Orianna. Of course, the Jarvan, was banned out. That's a super common one into it as well, but definitely like this look already with their early Nocturne.
Man, I'm not going to lie. I hate it for Lucian. The fact that he's one of the only characters in the game that canonically has a wife, and the only people he will lane with is a kid, a fish, and like some mustached guy from the snow.
And now he's going up against it.
Yeah, and now he has to divorce his own wife in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and I expect we'll be seeing, we've talked a lot about how new Static Shiv works super, super well with Senna once she's able to lock that in. Speaking of, we do see the Akali already taken off the table because it was previously such a playmaker for Saint. I do want to call out, though, the first game of that playoff series between LYON and Fly, Inspired was on the Nocturne against Griffin's jungle Gwen and had a really, really strong performance. This is a pick that Inspired is so comfortable on. He has such side lane control with it. So we'll see what else they want to lock in for their solo laners.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely expecting them to pick up, Saint to have something to be able to attack the Orianna and then save their full counter pick for Castle. They talked about, Inspired even talked about after last week about how, yeah, they had practiced the Rise flex pick, counter pick, but it was actually meant for Dokla and not Castle. So it was like, I actually don't think Castle has actually played much of this matchup at all. So hopefully this time around, they get him a counter pick on, something that he has.
One of his chance.
Yeah, put practice on, and they can utilize that fifth pick for top side effectively, but. Should be something here for Saint to put pressure. There we go. He had an amazing Sylas game last week and picks it up again. The Sylas and Nocturne, we have a highlight clip of them on those champions, so they're going to run it back.
So normally when you pick Sylas, you have a high value ulti to steal. You're thinking like Alistar, you're thinking Gnar. I'm looking at Nautilus, Senna, and Orianna. Do any of these feel like they're at that same level of value, or is it more preemptive?
I think it's more preemptive, but you still can, grab now Public Execution, but also there's obviously Shockwave to kind of do we talk about how well Nocturne Orianna go together. You can still pull off that combination, having stolen the Orianna ultimate, right? Yeah, exactly. So there's a little cheat there. I just think it's also something that Saint had such an incredible game on last time. He was so good on that Sylas in tandem with the Nocturne.
Yeah, Nautilus ult looks really good to me right here for him. See if he can grab the Nautilus ult for the point click CC, and the engage. So rounding it out for FlyQuest with a couple of extra carries here, extra carry power locked in at the end.
Okay.
Gakkos, we have run probably 7 times the success rate of Gakkos on carries versus on tanks.
Yeah.
And so this is a good look for FlyQuest to have him on a carry, and they're just going to do the Scion into it here for Castle. So not a super exciting 5th pick, but it is very, very useful. You know, you often always get the utility and the front line here out of Scion and just kind of weather the storm of Jace early lane phase.
But the pressure is on for Cryogen because he is really the only engage on the side of FlyQuest. This is one of the things, I brought it up yesterday, I'm going to bring it up again now. When a lower ranked team fights a higher ranked team and does not draft engage, I am mad. I'm pissed.
I
because you have to pick fights. And they have so limited tools to do that.
I wish the people could see you just because you're so emphatically being like, I hate when LCS teams do this, right?
I'm mad, Emily.
And then the challenge is, okay, we talk about how powerful these kind of poke compositions can be. You can play with fog super, super well if you're set up well around objectives with vision. They are a little bit, in my opinion, more difficult to play, though, for the reasons you've already said about lacking engage.
So, well, even though they have, you know, made it a little bit easier to dodge Ambessa ultimate, it's still really good, and you can definitely deliver these shockwaves. So I think they do have quite a lot of options here on FlyQuest, and a lot of utility as well.
Well, yesterday, we saw the battle at the top of the table between Cloud9 and Team Liquid. And Team Liquid was ahead 7,000 gold before 20 minutes, and they lost because they had no God-blessed engage. So, what I'm looking at right now
they have Nautilus and Ambessa and Oriana Shockwave, you know, they got some. We're giving you a massage flowers. Here we go.
Oh, God. All right, here we go. My match of the week.
This is Emily Rand's match of the week.
And
Bang,
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 this is
bang,
the first
bang.
time I've ever casted my own match of the week.
Ooh.
Well, guess what, Emily? You're the star of the show now. Let's see what we got going on. As down here in bottom lane, immediately we are scrapping at level 1.
And that's what we expect here. You know, the fight for priority over the brush on the bottom side. Lucian and Melio getting control here. Quite nice. This Senna and Nautilus, if you can put some extra pressure here, keep the Senna stacks fairly low. Both junglers are pathing down towards the bottom side. So Nautilus lane is looking to try and get some hooks and some plays in here to soften them up. Maybe they can get some extra visitation from the jungle pressure, but early wards here on Raptor camps as well. We'll be able to see these clears, and of course, Nocturne is looking to remain very efficient in keeping those jungle camps on cooldown.
Yeah, and I mean, last time, one of the big things that kind of tipped a lot of these matchups in Inspired favor was how well they were able to track Griffin in his early jungle pathing. So I really love that ward going down at Raptors. Is going to spot Inspired right now. This is interesting.
Yeah.
This is a great graphic.
Yeah, this is Inspired talking about how Griffin has a good idea for the game, but not quite the right execution. It's the Inspirazard versus the Griffamelion. He needs to evolve a little bit more. He needs some levels to get to the point where he can equal his opponent, and so far Inspired has just been better. He just has really good game knowledge. He knows what he wants to do in the 1v1 matchup when he's stronger than his opponent and how he wants to fight. I respect him. That's Inspired talking about Griffin in this head-to-head.
Yeah, I liked how Inspired was very complimentary of Griffin even after blasting him.
Yeah.
Right, Emily?
I think this was immediately
Even after just pulling the trigger and going bang, bang?
Yes. And now we'll see what Inspired wants to do here is he's on that bot side scuttle, and Griffin is kind of looking mid. Steve did have to blow his flash.
Hold on. Cryogen down to below. Holy moly, it's first blood over to Berserker. Lions 2v2 roars to life. They don't even care about the Scuttle Crab, Kobe. Bottom lane's the name of the game.
And a lot of the discussion this split around bottom lane in the LCS has been that Berserker and Isles have emerged as the top dogs, as the best bottom lane in the LCS. Them getting the early 2v2 kill here and getting like the real flash off Nautilus. Of course, he does have X Flash for offensive plays, but definitely not useful there for defensive ones. So getting the kill, getting the extra summoner spell, and Isles and Berserker didn't have to use their flashes or much extra there at all. So just really nicely played to earn their own advantages. And it's so nice too when we're talking about the Nocturne and keeping your farm up, when you don't even have to go to the lane to go ahead and get the advantage down there for them. They do it themselves. So Inspire could just go into his second clear here and keep pace nicely.
Yeah, and we'll look to see where he wants to visit on the map, as he might be looking at mid. He's going to get spotted out by that ward. But this is so good for this Lucian Melio to really, really punish. I mean, CSing early Ascena still feels pretty rough.
Down here on the bottom side, Berserker taking a little bit of damage, but ready to press forward. He and Isles confident here in the 2v2.
Yeah, even with the Deathfire touch, Senna still not super strong, super early on in the game.
Oh no!
Let's take a look at what went wrong here. But you know, the opening.
What was that,
Emily? You never heard that noise? It's like a cartoon sad noise.
No, I get you. We've just never had it on the cast before.
Wait, where have I even heard that? Because it's just like so. Yeah, it's just so like internalized.
Yeah.
Well, the pause turns the screen the lion colors here.
Well,
to go with
okay, yeah,
go along with their first blood.
It's just more lion
propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're off to a really good start. Of course, you know, in the mid lane is one area maybe because they did burn Saint's Flash in the 1v1 quad. You know, that was something that you know, was kind of highlighted there. He was able to burn Saint's Flash 1v1, so maybe you can try and punish there, but it's still going to be hard. It would have to be a point where Griffin like gets level 6 on Ambessa, and they can use Shockwave and Ambessa ultimate maybe to try and punish. Is a melee carry in there in the mid lane, so maybe some options from FlyQuest still possible.
Okay, so apparently the pause quad had to adjust some setting in the game, and so we're back to live now. The setting is taken care of. I am very glad it's not a big remake or something like that. I love when it's just a slight tweak, and now we're back into the game. And again, it's a very close game state despite LYON having the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, the solo lanes doing great for themselves. You know, of course, jungle, they're both just full clearing and farming, but the solo lanes doing very well early on here for FlyQuest, so they're kind of balancing out the bot side kill that Berserker was able to get and have the early pressure. I mean, the Jace definitely getting the work done here. Gakkos on his Jace with the early pressure, getting the CS lead and getting the turret plate fairly early too.
Yeah, and that's where, I mean, FlyQuest can look. I'm definitely curious to see both when the junglers take over to 6, where they're going to be using those ultimates. First, in particular, the Nocturne, as we see them both appearing on the bot side.
Exactly, both junglers hovering this bottom lane.
Because the bot side crab is the level 6 crab right by Dragon. This is the thing at the beginning of the year that Griffin and Blabber and Inspired and everybody's just sending everything for this crab.
Okay, brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. The battle for the crab begins now. Inspire going to be targeted here by FlyQuest as they full send after the Lion jungler, but Griffin is in danger. Inspired staying alive for now, but the Dragon ultimately kills him. Masu taking the kill credit on that one, but he now dies to Berserker. The fight rages on as Lion continues pushing forward. FlyQuest retreating. Quad down to 150 HP, but he will not die.
Uh-oh, it's looking kind of scary for FlyQuest because Berserker got another kill. They did end up killing, you know, Inspired, but Masu had to flash in to go get that. So then they're fully committed, and it also means the crab lives. So they go for the jungler. So right out of the brush here, FlyQuest, their plan, focus on Inspired. He flashes into the Dragon Pit, and Griffin tries to follow him first, flashing over the side. Then Masu's like, okay, don't worry, I'll finish him off. there's no way out for him in the end. And the extra kill going over to Lucian just means that the bot lane priority and problem is going to get worse.
Yeah, it's fine. Close. I think I misplayed. It's fine. Okay. Jungle no flash.
They're immediately on to the next thing, which I think is good, right? Like, I feel like whenever we do have a comms listen-in for FlyQuest, they're always like, okay, my bad, like, we go forward, right? Yeah. And that's been a huge strength of this team. I would say their greatest strength, as identified by like people including Inspired himself, where he's just like, they're so annoying to play against, right? Because they'll keep coming at you. They'll keep trying things. And I think their ability to kind of move on from their mistakes is a huge benefit. And
they had good setup there. You know, everybody with, you know, vision control here up on the brush, in position to try and focus fire down one target. And, you know, unfortunately, Nocturne has a spell shield, and also they weren't able to fully complete on the extra damage before chasing on in. So they did have to give up a decent amount. The ramifications of that we'll see, because it does mean Berserker is going to get to a fairly early, like, Essence Reaver spike. And
hold on. Inspired making the move here in the mid lane, finds the fear onto Quad. However, the Orianna is just fine. Saint now trying to escape. Cryogen reinforcing his mid laner, making sure this doesn't result in anything.
Yep. As we see, both mid laners surviving, backing off. As Cryogen's getting a good deal of vision down around this Drake, and actually the end result of all of this might be that despite the bot lane pressure that LYON have been able to apply, with Inspired seen on the top side of the map, maybe FlyQuest could see a window to try to take down this first Drake on the bot side.
Yeah, Inspired right now working through some of the grubs. We'll see how many he decides to finish, and looks like should be able to get all of them on vision here for FlyQuest. So they were watching the entire time as well and can move on down to take said dragon.
And as we see, Mbess is already there.
It's Timon and Pumbaa for Inspired. He is munching grubs all day, all night, feeling good, feeling right. It's just nothing but grubs for dinner. This man is happy, eating them things all day long, as FlyQuest will take over the bottom side of the river, will take over the Dragon Pit early on. But Emily, Kobe, this is 9.5 minutes into the game. That's Dragon number 1. That's a very late first Drake.
It's late, and it also, again, because LYON have been the ones until that kind of crab kerfluffle in the bot side river
the crab
happened.
Fluffle?
Yeah, the crab fluffle. We'll go with that. We'll bring out one of like Azale's portmanteaus here. It's actually pretty big that FlyQuest get that first Drake, right? Because they were not the ones with the bot lane pressure. It was this Lucian Melio from Berserker and Isles. So that's actually pretty big, because you would expect LYON to have complete control over that objective. Now, LYON are also a team that has been known to give up early objectives, as Saint has to blow flash again in mid lane. Quad's really been applying a lot of pressure on this Sylas.
Yep, certainly has. Keep him flashless as much as he can. It is the real test for me for FlyQuest is going to come in the mid game, because LYON have very, very good flank angles and good engage here. It's hard for their comp to deal with the Sion ultimate. When Sion is coming in and you get the Nocturne ulti kind of like hiding Saint's position for a flank for Saint as well, the dive is quite strong, and the only person that really wants to like stand in front and soak a Sion ultimate is your support Nautilus, who also was kind of even further behind, so it's going to be a little bit extra squishy early on. And so when you get to the point where this LYON team feels comfortable to go for their heavy engage with Sion ultimate, Nocturne ultimate, and Sylas coming through for flanks, they're going to have to be very wary of their positioning. But here's the swap up to top side. The E slow does not hit onto Gakko, so should be just fine.
Culling for
culling damage.
Yep, 40%. Spam the emotes, it's all good. The cat with the guns.
Yeah, and you see already FlyQuest bot lane kind of responding to that. Masu now does have his static Shiv completed, which is going to make just laning a lot. It feels so much better. When you lock that Shiv in, it already did even before the changes, which now just makes it such a better item.
Okay.
Castle ulting mid.
Yeah, that was... I feel like he's looking in case Quad decides to try to shove another wave, but Quad didn't, so he kind of just runs into mid lane and stops.
Yeah, what they were hoping is Saint is going to be able to like engage Quad in some combat there and maybe like land the E to set it up. So they just kind of throw it out there, but obviously he's just backs off for Quad and close enough to tower. So no sign ultimate to worry about. That's one of the things we were just saying you might have to worry about for the FlyQuest comp, but with no sign ultimate, they've got a lot more options here. And Saint no flash still, so Griffin gonna hover around and see if there's any sort of plays. If they attempt like Nocturne ultimates on his Orianna and Griffin is there, that counter engage is huge.
Yep.
And Bessa ultimate counter could definitely turn that around and get the kills back in favor of FlyQuest side.
Back here on the top side though, LYON trying to get some money here from the turret plating. They've already got plate number 1, trying to get number 2, but they will not find it. Need a little bit more, but Cryogen and Masu are there to keep defending. Looking at bottom lane, you can see both of the top laners repositioning themselves down there. Keep in mind that the LYON bottom lane duo has a gold advantage, but FlyQuest has the advantage everywhere else.
Yeah, and Cryogen taking a lot of damage from that culling should give this second plate over to Berserker and Isles. Do we make a Berserker loves money joke?
I just love money.
Yeah, he said it again in his Player of the Week interview the other day. But Quad is here.
Yep, Quad here coming down lane for the lane gank speed up.
Okay, Cryogen goes for the depth charge. Isles gets knocked up by the side effect of it, and now flashing away from that dredge line. He stays alive. FlyQuest tries to make the move, but LYON evades it.
Cool, I like, you know, it's a trailing lane gank from the Orianna when they're doing their rotation over, doing the swap to have Ori go top lane. And yeah, it's a Nautilus flash invasive, but you got Milio ult and Milio heal and flash for it. You know, Berserker getting out of range fairly quickly there, so he got to safety, but support maybe a bit more vulnerable.
And as we're going into the mid-game, reminder, as we're hitting the midpoint of the League of Legends competitive season, Spring Finals tickets are on sale right now for the Mullet Arena in Arizona, June 13th and 14th at Tempe, Arizona. Get your tickets now. You can scan that QR code on your screen to go ahead and get out there. It's one of my favorite things that we do all year long. Road shows are the best. Hope to see y'all there. And I hope to see these teams there as well because they're fighting to be a part of that weekend.
They certainly are, and these are some of our most exciting teams. FlyQuest here, going for a play.
Okay, top side, a lot of damage down onto Quad, and he's already dead. Saint takes the kill, but now can Griffin get anything back? He goes after Inspired, who's staying alive here with the spell shield 4 now. Griffin goes in and he gets him, makes it a 1-for-1, but Saint wants to make sure it goes LYON's way. One more auto attack might just do it. Saint needs a little bit more damage, he can't quite find it, but now, finally, a 2-for-1 going LYON's way.
And that's actually really big because until recently, it was Quad who was ahead in that lane, right? Now Saint is now 2-0-1, takes the lead in that lane, should be able to take over so many more of these fights.
And Orianna, the biggest vulnerabilities are always towards the later stages of the game when you're in the side lanes. This isn't even that stage, and he actually, he teleported back up for round 2. Quad wants revenge.
Uh-oh, Quad going in. Saint in some danger. That's double buffs on the Silas. He doesn't want to give those over. Flashes in, goes for the Kingslayer. Saint with the outplay! He makes it a 1-for-1!
Oh my gosh, Saint on this Silas, he's so comfortable on it. That was by the narrowest of margins that he ended up being able to trade that 1-for-1, really huge, with Quad trying to take advantage of the fact that he was still so low health up there.
Yeah, I mean, the first play, they're like, okay, we're going to enact our plan of attack Orianna when she's in a side lane, and we're going to Nocturne ultimate and go up there for the 2v2. Griffin, though, he had done this several times where he's hovering around. He knows they want to make play on Quad, so he was there with the control ward. He's there for the counter. They still delete Quad, though. They still delete the Orianna. Griffin getting the counter as Inspired tries to flash away, and he flash follows. Still going to be advantageous, of course, as you know, for LYON in the end, chasing down the extra kill. But then the repeat as well with the teleport back.
We're winning. They don't have damage, I think. Just fight.
It's okay. Jungle no flash. I was close.
Yeah, it was still good for them, the initial play. And then here's the clapback, Emily, or the attempt.
Here is Quad going in. He is...
Oh, hold on. Back down into the bottom lane. We got a bloodbath again. Quad is already down, but immediately traded back for Inspired. Every time we try to watch a replay, there's just more blood all over the floor.
So yeah, both teams know, okay, we got to hover this Orianna. They're going to keep trying to kill Orianna.
Yep.
Griffin is there. Griffin, on the Ambessa getting kind of strong as well. And so another 1-for-1. We're still... 2 dragons for FlyQuest, so while the gold is very even, they're the ones stacking the objectives here and getting closer and closer.
Yeah, it was interesting coming out of that Drake because they being LYON should have had vision that Gakkos and Griffin were in the area to be able to respond to that.
Okay, Masu pushing out the mid lane wave here. 2 minutes until Baron, 4 minutes until the next dragon. 2 dragons so far for FlyQuest. So if they can get that next one, we'll give them a good advantage for the rest of the game, pressuring Soul Point against LYON. But we know that LYON, through inspired shot calling, has very good macro decisions later on in the game.
And they've got some good tools to apply as these outer towers are going down. You see, top side is the vulnerable one for FlyQuest because their top tower is down. And that's why they have Orianna on the bot side wave because the tower is still here. So a little bit more safety for the flashless Orianna in a world where you're playing against Nocturne. And even the extra Scion ultimate goes a long way too when you're trying to play the longer lanes here for LYON. So they just plant Berserker in mid lane so he can get his mid lane priority and then look around for some Nocturne ultimate plays for themselves as FlyQuest are trying to get all of their minion waves. Little invade here as they're syncing up with Kraujin and Griffin.
Okay. FlyQuest going in for the invade. They find Inspire, but that might not be the right target. LYON ready to strike back, but Inspire already down to 40% HP. Castle makes his flank attack. He's in the middle of everybody. Saint enters the fray, has the stolen Orianna ultimate, and Cryogenic is already down. Berserker under pressure. Gakkos trying to kill the enemy AD carry. Saint killed now by Quad. Inspire 200 HP, jumps into the Herald. Staying alive for now. Castle gets over the wall. A 1-for-1 at the end of a bloodbath.
They're not even done yet. Castle's still caught.
Yeah, Castle might be in some trouble. They will siege that fortress and Castle falls.
Masu hits the snare over the red buff wall, and they're like, wait a second. That guy's going nowhere. Get him.
We can still go in on this. The big thing for me is Griffin still has so much room to move around these fights as Ambessa. And when you have him kind of going in first, being buffed by Masu, now with Black Cleaver locked in, on top of the Static Shiv, on top of the Black Fire Torch, this Senna is looking pretty strong.
Yeah, look at this invade. Okay, so we're already to the point where Castle did his flank onto Scion. So this is just the end. But regardless, remember back to what Inspired was talking about when he's talking about FlyQuest and why they're so annoying to play against is because they are so aggressive and they're looking for these timers to attack you when you're not necessarily expecting it.
He's trying to cancel my base. What is he doing?
What is he doing?
Yeah, you're trying to shout at him, shout the E at him. But Masu with the punish there. They get the extra kill. And even just them having numbers through mid and looking for that invade on the timer where they had a lot of 2-item power spikes for Gakkos, for Quad, for Masu here. Looked really good for FlyQuest, obviously, after all this fighting. A lot of people are catching up to the 2-item power spikes, but FlyQuest now moving very, very nicely here as a squad of 5, grouping up to try and apply the extra pressure. Scion once again coming up river, but he's the target now, and it's ult for ult.
Yeah, Castle in some danger, isolated from the rest of his team. Teleport coming in from LYON. Castle tries to turn it around. Decimating smash back on to the enemy jungler. Quad under pressure, Inspire behind enemy lines. Castle reinforcing, repositioning here with the teleport. FlyQuest grouped up as 5.
Saint.
Again, going after Castle. Saint and Inspired here on the flank. Gakkos going to be the target. Takes a little bit of damage, not a whole lot. FlyQuest regrouping, honestly, doing a really good job answering what LYON is trying to do.
Wow, I mean, it's just fights on two fronts here for the entire time, because initially FlyQuest are going to turn on the flanking Scion with ult for ult. A nice one there from Griffin. Does get to the other side of Scion, so it's going to block the escape ult. But then they have the re-engage. Inspired uses Nocturne ult to try and distract them and take away the basically aggro of the team. And so in the end, the kills don't go over, but they do exchange quite a few cooldowns.
They exchange quite a few cooldowns, and also Fly should have first rotation on this bot side to potentially set up for yet another Drake take, which would put them on soul point. So again, that initial early Drake that they were able to get was so crucial, because now LYON kind of have to contest this.
And Quad hasn't started channeling his teleport yet, but he does have his shockwave.
Okay, immediately, LYON stepping up. Castle taking a ton of damage here in the front line, but Griffin is already down. Castle dies, but his dead body is ready to fight. A lot of damage onto Saint, but he's still fine for now. Castle making space, making room. All right, 4v4. FlyQuest still with control over the Dragon Pit. Inspired, flashing over the wall, staying alive for now. An even trade in terms of kills, and FlyQuest get the objective.
And such a standout in these fights is how comfortable Masu is to just go so far forward on this Senna once everything is said and done. Again, just able to kind of muscle their way in, now on soul point, chasing LYON off.
Yeah, Masu using his range very aggressively there. And Quad with the teleport in for the big shockwave. That was a huge shockwave. Then FlyQuest almost disrespected the Scion zombie body for a little bit there on the re-engage. That thing definitely does have some damage output, but Masu was able to walk on by it to the side, force out Inspired's flash, and secure this third dragon for FlyQuest. So although the fight starts very early, they do get Quad's teleport in time before Nocturne Ultimate, and that is key. They had him pushing top lane, so they got him there, and they was able to get the big shockwave so they can actually win the fight, get the objective, and now we're looking at that Dragon Soul just 4 minutes in the future.
And here we have Inspired again, being like, FlyQuest are the most annoying team.
Okay, tier 1 turret destroyed here in mid lane. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If it wasn't for Fearless, Scion would be drafted in every single game of professional League of Legends. This champion is not fair. It is not balanced in pro play. It is so much stronger than every other tank, and when he dies, he becomes a carry.
But if we didn't have Fearless, we'd see Ashe Seraphine like...
No, I'm not saying this as I hate Fearless. I love Fearless because I don't have to see Scion every single game. This character is so powerful. It's crazy. And I feel like every time a team lets him go to the other side and they're like, oh yeah, we have the answer to Scion. No, you don't.
Let's see if they can utilize these tools, because remember, LYON's going to try and attack these side lanes with the Sylas, Scion, and Nocturne. These are kind of the key sideline playmakers, whereas Berserker here with Isles usually feels very safe just having their own mid lane priority. And so Inspired is kind of going between lanes. You know, he was just bottom lane, kind of looking around. Is there a Scion plus Nocturne angle on this? Engage on this Jace? Not quite, because the Jace was playing fairly safe there for Gatkos during the timer. Now he's hovering over by the Sylas. Can they make a sort of, pick play on a side lane there? But again, look at the mini-map. Again, you have Griffin hovering the Orianna. As the Orianna goes to a wave, you're always looking to hover, see if they want to make a play on him so you can have the counter ready. And FlyQuest have had a lot of very good, positioning counter plays ready for them. And so now with Dragon Soul points to their name, with the 2,000 gold lead as well, and only 2 minutes on the clock, it's looking very good for FlyQuest setup.
Yeah, I really love how they've been getting down vision to also protect this Ori, right? So as they move in, there was already a vision line here that was tracking exactly where LYON were. As we see, Saint is going to have that Nautilus ult potentially for their next engage. But I really, really like how FlyQuest have recognized, to your point, Kobe, that they have to protect this Orianna in side lanes, right? And one thing that's given them so much control, like so much more control over these side lanes, has been this vision line that they've been able to get down to protect her.
Yeah, it is interesting too that they just committed everybody up around the Baron to get more vision, and they sacrificed the end of the outer turret to Scion. Yeah. So LYON's able to get that last of the outer turret on bottom side. Griffin still gets permanent vision here with the Scuttle Crab, ready for the Dragon Soul fight. And since they invested their time for the vision up by Baron, they get their choice. Hey, you know, are we going to try and force something on the Baron when we know you have to deal with this Dragon Soul? Or are FlyQuest just going to go straight for that one and actually fight it heads up? They have, again, very good item spikes for themselves. Lots of 3-item spikes, or at least for Griffin and Gakkos. They're very rich. Senna's still working on it. This build is actually so fun with the Deathfire Touch, with the Static Shiv, Black Cleaver, and the Dusk and Dawn. These procs. Oh, there we go. He finishes it, so he gets his Dusk and Dawn.
He has it already for the next Drake fight. And another thing, we saw them, again, getting that entire vision line down ahead of the Drake take. They had set up Jace in that bot lane to push it out, forcing LYON to respond to that, as we see Orianna and Ambessa both headed down to that side. But again, I really like how FlyQuest have played with their vision to set around objectives, because it's really tracked where and kind of channeled where Inspired is going to be able to go to keep eyes on him. But it's also a huge reason as to why they are now about to fight for this Mountain Soul.
Yep, FlyQuest with control over the bot side river.
Okay, we did have another big item power spike for them as well, Berserker with the Infinity Edge, so big possibilities here for LYON. This is clutch time for LYON. They have to perform in this fight. Dragon Soul is on the line. FlyQuest gonna start it out. Look at the flank. Sion from mid. Nocturne could go straight up the middle.
Okay, FlyQuest grouped up. Gakkos dealing with Castle off to the side, but Castle jumping into the middle of the fight. Inspired engages, tries to dive onto the enemy back line. LYON wants this engage, and they've already found Quad. Inspired getting away for now. Berserker dumping the culling into Griffin. He tries to get away. Griffin survives for now. LYON with control over the bottom side of the river, but now Castle's in a little bit of danger. Nice Dawning Shadow comes over, but no! The kill in Namasu! LYON team fighting again! Shows its fangs! 4, 5, yes! LYON with the ace, a triple kill. Back over to Berserker.
Insanely clutch. Did you see Castle? He's in mid lane, and you have Gakkos run straight for him to try and block him out, but he flashes over the Jace to go for this Sion ultimate, and he gets the engage, the critical engage for the fight that earns them the denial of the Dragon Soul and the Baron. Look at this. Okay, Gakkos, he knows I got to keep this Sion out, but he goes flash and ult right over his head, right into the fight to allow the engage. Inspired then, honestly, just deletes Quad.
Inspired immediately onto Quad, taking away the shockwave potential before, and you know, then Dawning Shadow comes through, but Saint immediately in on to Cryogen. They're able to kill off Griffin. Berserker completely untouched, constantly healed by this Milio, ends up with the triple kill. Rainover's very happy about that.
This is what I'm saying. You don't let Sion through. This character, this champion, it's too good, man.
Look at the Berserker damage.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Infinity Edge being done for Berserker was big too, but the hard part is getting the dive off. And so Sion from one side, Nocturne right up the middle from the other, and then the Sylas as well coming through to follow. And LYON, they were so clutch last week as well. They had to pull out a very big team fight by the Baron, where Saint and Inspired were on the same two champs. They had this Nocturne ultimate that you can see on the bottom side, where Nocturne ultimate, Cover of Darkness, and Saint goes in on his Sylas. Insane stuff from him, where he absolutely hulked out. He stole the Sejuani ult, jumped over the wall, and then ult flashed right on to Xayah to instantly delete him, and it was a very clutch fight. They needed to win at the Baron. Then in this game, they're up against it versus FlyQuest. Dragon Soul on the line, and they pull out another clutch fight. Now they've got Baron. They've got the extra timer here for the Dragon that they were able to take, so looks way, way better. And again, those are the things for this team composition, why we're highlighting the possible dangers later when the map is really open and you can get flanked from multiple sides and you have to deal with this dive because FlyQuest don't have great blockers.
Yeah, and as we see, again, LYON with that push, they're going to be pressuring on this top side with Baron. Berserker should just be able to kind of shred through these turrets alongside the cannon minions. Sylas pushing up in the bot side, but yeah, I mean, it was so huge also of Inspired to recognize he needs to delete Quad immediately before he can get the shockwave off. Saint being proto-belting directly into the back line. Saint just seems so comfortable. And to your Scion point, not only is Scion strong, Clayton, however, Castle looks so much more well-coordinated with this team. Again, it's a composition that is really easy to execute, but his frontlining in this has been really, really strong.
Yeah, flashing over the opponent to make sure
So
that he gets
good.
the ulti into the fight. Berserker and Isles, by the way, both deathless so far, both with 8 out of
good for my
13
fantasy
KP. Again, I just want to sing Isles' praises. He was on low-ranked teams for so long, and now that he's on a team that can really contest for the top of the table, he's showing that he's somebody who can flex his own muscles. Now here in the mid lane, Castle here on the front line, taking a little bit of damage. He does not care. Dawning Shadow's not going to do a whole lot. Griffin into the back line, inspired very low. Knocked into Guardian Angel, but now you've got the flank attack coming in from Saint. LYON trying to scramble a little bit here. Masu under pressure. Saint going in after the enemy. Senna survives here thanks to that stasis. Saint staying alive for now. Isles already down. Quad Griffin the kill on that one. Shut down on Berserker. FlyQuest finding a big fight. Berserker at least gets the kill back onto Quad, but it's still FlyQuest taking the fight for now. Saint kills Masu. Castle trying to get away. Griffin wants to chase this down. Castle with a flash. Bad flash. Griffin gets the kill.
What a game! FlyQuest, tenacious as ever. They take the fight in mid. They outplay, and they're the ones now with extra gold to take. They can take down the mid tower, gain so much more priority on the map. Pulling it right back, Emily.
Yeah, that was insane. I actually thought this was going to be over with that late TP coming in from Saint, but Inspired goes down so quickly, and even though Saint does land that Nautilus ult onto Quad, he survives when he tries to go onto Masu. Masu ends up surviving, and it's Griffin who's going crazy in the middle of this fight.
What
And
a
Saint
scrap.
does
And
manage to get
Saint
the...
went crazy again. He was 2v1ing there in the backside. If they had timed it a little bit earlier, then they could have had better results. But FlyQuest, they have everyone there. They're so aggressive. Everyone there on time, making the play early. And Griffin with the big damage output as well, kind of chopping them up through the fight.
And you could see the frustration on Berserker's face. It's like, man, we had this. It felt like the fight was entirely in their possession. As now FlyQuest trying to maintain control over this bot side river. If they get this, it's Mountain Soul. LYON knows they have to contest.
Here we go, burning it down. They've got control of the vision by Brush again. Berserker half health.
Yup, big shot there coming in from Gatkos. Accelerated Shock Blast does its job. FlyQuest already have the objective down to half HP. Saint here on the flank. LYON looking for their opportunity to go in. For the angle, Griffin still working on the Dragon. Inspired wants to make it a 50-50 if nothing else, and he's stolen away the Mountain Drake. Now, LYON going in for the big fight. Inspired down to nothing. He's already dead. They're going to kill the second. It's already going FlyQuest way, and they're looking for even more. Isles barely surviving, but he might be the only one to get away. No, Quad takes him out with the clockwork windup. Berserker's trying to survive, but no, FlyQuest. They find an ace for only a dragon.
Inspired might have been able to steal the dragon, but FlyQuest just wiped them off the map.
Yeah, this was crazy. A Saint on the flank, dodging that shock blast, but Inspired turns out the lights here, gets the Drake. However, you know, that culling goes absolutely nowhere. Inspired keeps dying really early on in these fights, and that just opens up so much space for Griffin to go absolutely crazy. Buffed by this Senna, Quad flashing over the wall, him and Masu cleaning up Berserker. Just this Senna kind of buffing the Mbessa to go absolutely insane, and now they're onto the Baron.
Yeah, and he's popping his procs on all the members of LYON as they're trying to fight through this big clump. And so really, the huge damage numbers here on FlyQuest. Able to get the huge advantage. Baron number 2 will be there, so now they get to push, and the Senna just continues to infinitely scale here, stacking up souls after soul after soul, finishes the IE, plus an extra pickaxe here. So much extra money and power on this Senna. The range is just getting insane.
And another thing I really liked in that setup too from FlyQuest is, again, them playing around Fog and the potential for Gatkos to really chunk out priority targets on this Jace. We also have the Mortal Reminder now just locked in from Griffin, going to make him even more difficult to take down.
Yeah, I mean, you're just seeing the difference between 4 full damage carries here, basically, or even the bruiser carries on FlyQuest, especially with all these on-hit procs from Senna bouncing on everybody, and FlyQuest with the Baron, they're just going to bully inside the map. You can't base race versus the Baron.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what in the hell Saint is trying to do, but it's not working. Castle is already down. The gates have fallen. The castle is under siege. The moat doesn't work. It's been filled in. The enemy is near. Now Inspired finally ults in, tries to find a kill. He at least gets one. LYON defending themselves as best they can. Quad staying alive, but he finally dies. Berserker grabbing the kill on that one. Fires back into Gaktos, but he dies. Griffin here with the kill. FlyQuest still trying to end the game right now. Isles the only one standing. Cryogen wants to chase him down. Isles still sticking around. Dredgeline, there it is. Quadra kill, back over to Griffin. It might only be jungler and support, but they're marching on the Nexus.
Griffin getting his revenge for the last time, that playoff series where Inspired destroyed him. Now he completely took over this game on the Mbessa.
It was close. It was a battle 38 minutes long, but FlyQuest are going up 1-0 in the series. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the last best of 3 of the regular season here in Spring Split 2026 of the LCS. It's LYON versus FlyQuest, and LYON with only a single series loss so far in this split, lost game number 1 to some impeccable FlyQuest team fighting.
But guess who's in?
Who's in?
It's Big Dope.
Big Dope
coming back in. I know last week we had talked to Rigby about what he thought the big difference was between Dokla and Castle, and he kind of cited that, you know, Castle, he's so strong in lane. However, Dokla has better synergy with the team, and he's much more coordinated in team fighting. He's also better on, as they kind of pointed out, that Ryze had not necessarily been a pick.
Okay.
That Castle had prepped the prior, during their practice going into the game he did substitute in last week. Dokla's more on the funny picks, as we say, right?
The funny.
It was his ranged carries that LYON kind of designed their playoff strategy around last split as they went through the bracket to eventually win the Split 1 title for lock-in. And then just last week we saw the Anivia top, right? Which we kind of found out later was something they'd been practicing. He hadn't brought it on stage yet, but it was a very Dokla-esque pick according to the team.
And he smurfed it, you know, frontlining with the Anivia, using his body, his egg, his Zhonya's, everything he had to create a lot of space for the team. And Isaiah kind of touched on it, but with the subbing issue, Dokla is on a longer win streak than LYON itself because they subbed him out for the loss. He's on a 10-game win streak individually here
crazy.
with LYON. So Big Dokes still getting the big dubs. And we'll see if that does continue here in this game, because FlyQuest looks so much better here in the first game of this series than they did at the very beginning of the year. You know, they played in lock-in. It was quite a while ago here for these two teams. FlyQuest, obviously, they're a young team, and so LYON gave them a little bit to learn from, and it seems like they have had some growth on the side of FlyQuest.
And we've even heard from LYON that they say FlyQuest is the most challenging team. That's the scariest team, because FlyQuest play crazy. They just will do crap that you don't expect them to do, and that makes it scary to go up against.
Yeah, and we've heard other players talk about this too, right? I know last week on Pros, APA and LYON both kind of corroborated it, where they were like, maybe it's not a top 3 necessarily, but a top 4, because we do consider FlyQuest to be that good. Yesterday, Kobe, when we had contracts on the desk, he was joking around. He's like, yeah, you know, Griffin's really annoying to play against. Like, I'm an old man at 26, and sometimes I just get hand-stiffed by these young kids. Juan, if you're watching, I'll have you know, Clayton is shaking his head in...
I'm 35 years old, and I'm still young.
But yeah, so I think that is such a huge strength of this team. We talked about it even earlier in this game 1 with their comms, how they're very easily willing to kind of shake off mistakes, play very loosely and well coordinated. And even when listening back to some of their teamfight comms during the break, they were very clear in terms of what their objectives were in fights. So it's not like a chaos you might expect from seeing them play Arena, for example.
And we saw Griffin get to put his favored champion here of Mbessa on display again. It's pretty funny. A lot of people, if you don't play Mbessa, you kind of hate this champion. And everyone was really happy when it got nerfed and the ultimate time was increased. But then that was only lasted like one patch. And then Mbessa got some compensation buffs as well, right back on top. And so all the Mbessa players were like, great, we'll get right back on it. They were definitely more top focused, but we get a first pick at Nivea once again. And LYON, that very well could go into Dokla's hands again. However, it's a flex champion. And Anivia got small nerfs, speaking of the patch, which were directly to armor. So if you did end up flexing it into another lane, into like an AP lane or something like that, then it wouldn't be necessarily as big of nerfs, but some slight nerfs to the tankiness since the last time that we saw Big Dokes on the tanky bird.
Yeah, and he did, like you said, Kobe, do really well in that series, kind of using that egg to frontline for his team, but it could be going to Saint. It also could be going to Isles if they want to go in that direction and kind of keep FlyQuest guessing.
So FlyQuest have banned out the Karma and the Seraphine. Karma, the general powerful enchanter, Seraphine, the buddy for Ashe. And then they drafted the Nami without an AD carry, picking their jungler instead, prioritizing the Jarvan. I really like this strategy because you're saying we're going to pick the best enchanter that's left because we got rid of the other two.
And a lot of the pairings are determined by the enchanters. We expect the Corki to follow it up here with the Nami. But now you get to see, it's into the Nico and Caitlyn. And that is a very long range and poke heavy team. So
it's so oppressive in lane too, right?
Yep.
Like the Nico bindings combined with the Caitlyn traps combined with Caitlyn's range. It's just really, really obnoxious to deal with. So we'll see what FlyQuest decide. And actually they're going to go towards their mid lane pick with the Victor for quad instead. Kind of an interesting choice here.
I don't like it.
Now, you're making a face.
Yeah, I don't like it. I feel like if you're going to pick Victor, you need to pick him later on when it feels like he fits into the entire composition, because if he doesn't work, I feel like he really doesn't work. There's a reason Caitlyn and Jinx and Vi are the main characters of Arcane, and this guy's also kind of there. Like, I don't know, man.
Victor's my favorite character.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Well,
look,
he does like the new, Deathfire touch, and Quad definitely is a specialist on Victor and these AP carry mages. So, and they also were able to get the Jarvan on their side, so not going to have, that annoying presence from the jungle trying to put the extra pressure on you and blow your flash. But yeah, we expect like the Ezreals and the Corkis here to be the target since you're dropping your AD carry pick. And FlyQuest are saying, yeah, Nami is a universal. Okay, so actually, since they do have the range of the Caitlyn here, seems like they're not too worried about the Corki itself and just the Ezreal poke angle.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ezreal's such a part of some of these pushing lanes, most commonly with the Karma, which we already kind of cited, is banned out. And the old standby of Corki Nami is locked in after all that. It's Corki coming out for Masu.
All right, FlyQuest has literally 0 potential flex pick in their draft. Everything is hard-coded into its specific lane. So how does LYON want to navigate this here with their mid lane pick? Yone locked in for Saint.
If they do lock in the Yone, that does open up potential for an AP jungle pick coming out of Inspired.
Okay.
The Sejuani is the one that we kind of see him default to more often than not. And
let's go!
Wow, there we
Emily
go.
the Psychic. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Inspired have such really great games on this. There's also just so much follow-up and potential first CC for the Sedge to follow up on. So a lot of angles for Inspired to take. He's going to kind of have his choice of who he wants to link up with to chain CC.
Yep, and you get to put a lot of pressure on a low mobility mid lane champion like Victor. With the Yone stacking up Sejuani passive so quickly, you can oftentimes look for a lot of angles. Plus you have a support Nico to look for roams towards mid, so lots of angles for LYON to try and gank with either jungle or support towards mid lane, try and get quads flash and get some kills and money for the Yone for Saint.
How do we feel about K'Sante versus Anivia? What's the read here?
It's kind of like, okay, you picked Anivia. Like, there's not a lot of stuff that really has good lanes into it, so I will play for my team. I'll just be a K'Sante over here, that's kind of the answer. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be useful for my team.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: LYON's comp is really obnoxious to have to go up against, right? Like, this is a very annoying team composition just with the potential CC chains you can have with Anivia, Nico, Sejuani, Caitlyn traps on top of that, setting up for the Yone making space in these fights. So we'll see how LYON pilot it. Like I said, I really love Inspired Sejuani. I think people call him out for kind of these more farming, like, jungle picks. I think he's had some of his best international, like, individual performances on the Sejuani as well. So yeah, I just think this is a really comfortable team comp for LYON.
Yeah, and the performance of the bottom lane is going to determine a lot of this, because it will make the game so much easier for LYON if their bottom lane gets lots of push and can do Caitlyn Nico things, get up to the tower, poke them at it, get tower plate money. Then you also buy time for the Nico to roam mid to that Yone that we're trying to set up, and especially around the level 6 timer when you can make these all-ins onto the Victor. So if bot lane gets priority and Nico gets roam timers, then it really starts to put a lot of pressure on the other lanes here for FlyQuest. So we'll see how Masu and Cryogen with their Corky Nami down here, if they can find some good angles for themselves.
And you can see top 3 game records, Dokla, the top record holder over C9 and LYON individually, 11-3 for Big Dokes. Almost a 79% win rate here for him.
Yep, he's the best team in the LCS. Why
He's the best team. Yep. All 5 of them.
They subbed him out as his game percentage win rate looking good though.
And I am wondering, because Griffin is on this J4 pick, if he might potentially look for something on the bot side now that he's on Krugs instead of pathing straight bot to top. We'll see, just because LYON would be aware of this. They do have that ward in the bot side try that he's going to avoid it.
Okay, Griffin goes with the EQ into the Dragon Pit, so he's got to wait on the cooldown, but he is taking the long con here.
Yeah, cracking the bottom lane. This bottom lane we said was so important. Griffin, he stuck around.
Okay, the tower sees him. Griffin goes in, Berserker getting away for now, staying alive. Honestly, Berserker spending no summoner spells here feels good about that.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have to expend much, and I do still like the thought from Griffin, right? Because if he can potentially get something onto this bot lane, we talked about how important it is, and now Isles and Berserker are probably going to be able to shove that lane in a bit and take control over the wave.
The big thing and the cost for doing these types of plays and why they are, more unexpected. Yeah, not only it's Jarvan, obviously you can get around the vision, but it desyncs the respawn timers of your small camps, which is pretty annoying for junglers, because he just did, bottom quadrant and now goes for the reset into top quadrant. Meanwhile, Inspired has a very clean respawn timer for all his camps. He just did a full clear down to bottom side, and then he ends up bottom 2. So now he's the one applying bottom pressure.
Yup, and he shows up, and it does not even matter that they see him there, because the rest of LYON is ready to go. It's first blood already over to Berserker. They just walk it in and mow him down.
Yeah, that's why it's so risky, even though you feel pressured to do kind of funny stuff versus Caitlyn lanes, because otherwise the Caitlyn siege just starts to take its stole on your bottom lane. But if you miss on that play, then the ramifications are so detrimental to you. Because now Inspired, not only did they end up getting the really easy tower dive for their bottom lane, first blood to the Caitlyn, but he, like we said, has a really easy clear for top down that's smooth again for the respawn timers of his camps. And can get right back into it. So first blood, 2 Berserkers. Caitlyn is exactly what the doctor ordered here for LYON.
And LYON's off to a good start, and we heard that they were still reviewing Game 1's loss in Champ Select for Game 2. Take a listen.
Yo, Stain, do you know that helmet is a scaling item and not item for lane? Why did you sell it?
I couldn't buy the one item.
Yeah, but it's better to like
Just sit on the
not
component.
sell it,
Don't
sit on the
sell it.
components. That item is legit OP.
Yeah.
Like later, not early game.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that.
You are just fucking stupid.
Good data, bro.
Like, what?
Okay. Saint, did you not see the Chovy lane? We watched it together, bro. How are you getting...
Because I am fucking Haven.
Oh, you idiot. You're not using E well. I watched your lane.
Unlucky.
Okay, fine.
Unlucky.
I feel like they're doing
Unlucky.
this up. They have to be doing
You have
this
some
on
good plays,
purpose.
though,
They have to
Saint.
be doing this on purpose. Oh,
Oh, meanwhile, bottom side, Masu grabbing the kill here. Griffin shows up in the bottom lane and equalizes things as FlyQuest make their way onto the board, ties it up in kills 1-1.
The bot lane war zone Flowers. They know so much
Yes,
is
sir.
dependent on this. And that is going to be a clap back immediately. Like the look. Again, keeping up on that focus.
yeah. And it's really nice to see both junglers kind of recognizing exactly where they want to go. Nice little lane gank from Griffin off of him finishing off his Krugs. I definitely don't think that either Berserker or Isles were expecting it. So as soon as Isles had stepped forward, Griffin was right there, and Masu picks up the kill more importantly. So, however, now LYON immediately rotate to take this first Drake. They're not going to fall into the same position that they were in Game 1, where FlyQuest had such strong Drake control that really forced LYON into responding. It's always interesting, Kobe, to see when LYON try to make these decisions, because they are kind of the LCS team that we've known to give objectives over the most in favor of fighting later.
Yeah, fully depends on their team comp, and Inspired is always looking for their item power spikes and their team comp power spikes. And this one with the Caitlyn Nico, and on the reset there after the bot side play, good timing window to go get it. And it's important when you have a Caitlyn lane. And hold on.
Oof.
Okay,
Okay.
Here's Inspired.
We're not done yet. Inspired, wrapping around here, goes for the Glacial Prison, does not find it because Masu flashes away. However, Cryogen is just fish in a barrel. LYON shoots him down, and that means Berserker gets the kill credit.
the ganks will continue
Yep.
bottom lane over and over. Flowers.
Until morale improves.
But
It's pretty good, though.
I was gonna say, it sounds like morale's pretty good on
Yeah,
both
morale's
teams.
all right.
It's swinging back and forth from each side depending on the timing of the gank. Okay. But again, back to the composition here for LYON when you want to be able to stack these early dragons, because Anivia and Caitlyn are so good. When you get priority early to the objective, you can set up your traps, and then you also have the Anivia wall plus ultimate to control all these approach angles to the objectives, through the jungle, these ramps. And so you do really well in like sieges and standoffs around terrain that is going to help you corral the enemy. And so this bot lane focus really has been everything. Now we're going to start to see some options though, because you've got Yone ultimate available too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can maybe look for some Nico roam timers, maybe as Isles gets level 6, to try and play off of a Saint ulti angle here towards quad. Currently, though, still getting pushed in by the Victor, and does get the Victor ultimate down.
Exactly, the Arcane Storm used to fight back against Saint and also push the wave at the same time, maintain priority over the mid lane. It's the solo lanes for FlyQuest that have the advantage right now, while bottom lane and jungle have a gold advantage for LYON with a total of about, not even 500 gold overall. So a very close early game as Griffin is taking the Void Grubs, considering LYON got the Dragon, first of all, for themselves. That means neutrals are going to remain just about even. Even though Void Grubs, Kobe, I know you're on my team with this, they kind of suck.
They do. They got nerfed into the ground. There
Poor
it is.
little ugly grubbies. As Saint goes in after quad yet again, finds the Q3 and immediately snaps back.
So they're looking, yeah, for that the old timer here to try and pressure Quad, but Quad does not flinch. He doesn't even flash. He just walks to the side. Clean moves here, and that's his confidence, and that's why they early picked the victor.
Flowers, what happened? It's now Griffizard. He evolved.
Yeah,
that was the
Griffizard
previous game.
evolved. That's a powerful Griffin right there. 10, 3, and 8 in the previous game. That's an Insmeleon. He's not powerful enough. He devolved. He's got red HP.
If Ambessa was a Pokemon, what would the Ambessa Pokemon name be?
Ambessameleon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's Griffin right there.
Yeah, Ambessa smurfing it up. Griffin having a great time so far. Now he's on the Jarvan. He's a Jarvizard. And now he has to breathe fire upon all of LYON and make this a 2-0.
But guess who's back bot lane? It's Inspired.
Okay.
Just going to clear out a bit of vision, I think, because he realized they saw him on vision. But that does mean, again, that Cryogen and Masu have to back off, and Berserker and Isles are really taking control of this bot side push.
And since Inspired is on a tank jungler, he gets to buy thrift store items. He has the Protoplasm Harness. He's got that cheap first item. You can look at Griffin's inventory. He's still got components. So that means if they have a fight, if there's a reason to fight, which, I don't know, maybe 55 seconds from now, there might be a neutral objective or something spawning, he's going to be significantly more powerful.
Yeah, it feels so nice when tank jugglers can use these support items. Mid lane here, Quad keeping up the poke, and speaking of item completions with his Ludens, really, really good poke damage here. That plus the Deathfire touch, just keeping Saint under tower, trying to deny him some minions. Dokla.
Oh, Dokla missed the Q. This is a problem. Gakkos trying to find it, but since Inspired shows up, that saves Dokla's bacon.
Yep.
No
Gakkos
breakfast
still-
today for Gakkos.
Yeah, still posturing really aggressively forward.
Yeah, I honestly love this from Gakkos. Even though he knows Inspired is there, he's like, I'm still going to punch your top laner in the mouth. You're just going to have to watch.
He takes a couple tower shots to stop the recall here as well for the timing. It's interesting, too, because we're talking about item completions, and you're like, oh, man, the whole Rod of Ages is done for Dokla. But look at the magic resist stacking that Gakkos has got him to this confidence level. He finished the Merc Treads early, and having the cloak as well here, the extra regeneration just goes really hard on top of all the magic resist. So he's happy just tanking all this damage over and over and over, getting a lot of sustain and some extra survivability as we now see a little jungle ring around the rosy going here with the vision set up for that
Killing
dragon.
each other's vision.
I
Set
feel
up
like
for
if
the Drake.
Gakkos would have hit Dokla with that Q3, he would have at least scrambled his egg. You know what I mean? Like, that would not have been a good time for the Anivia up there in the top side. However, you can see the quest complete now for FlyQuest up there in the top side. It's solo lane quest done for FlyQuest. Only the 80 carry quest completed here for LYON. No teleport available for Gakkos. However, Dokla does have his TP around, so that means LYON feels more comfortable going after this dragon. And it looks like Inspire will take it.
Cryogen was on a reset there, so Nami's coming from base a little bit far, but they're not bursting the dragon down. They don't have huge damage on it, so Cryogen has walked his way here. Now Corki is on bottom, flanking the other side, though, so they just... The timing's not quite out there with the desync on bottom lane. Cryogen went back to base. Berserker, or Masu, excuse me, here, still trying to deal with the mini wave, and so they can't quite really contest, even though people kind of walk over. And so the dragon stacking does continue here for LYON quite nicely, setting themselves up for those later sieges.
Ooh, Saint going in there. Trying to find the engage with the ulti onto Quad, but the flash keeps Victor safe.
Yeah, and I think if he had been able to find it, Dokla is here, right? Like, both top laners had kind of returned to potentially, you know, Dokla would have been able to get in there for a potential Drake fight, but when that didn't happen, Gakkos heads back topside. Isles is here as a minion.
As a minion.
Hey, buddy. Gakkos is mega pure magic resist, so
Yeah.
a support that does more magic damage isn't going to worry him. If he fought a Blade of the Ruined King Yone, then maybe he's going to start
That's the
taking.
problem.
He
Yeah.
would take some damage, but he's not going to take a lot of magic damage here with the extra cloak on top of the Spectre's Cow, on top of the Merc Treads.
I feel like you could have Nico and Anivia both puke their entire kits onto Cassante at this point, and he would have a third of his HP left and walk away probably with an emote. So Gakkos not really worried about that one. Meanwhile, down here in the bottom lane, mid laners have taken up this area of the Rift. Inspired is hanging around, though. Does he really want to go for the lane gank here? Looks like he does. We'll see how long he wants to wait for that opportunity as Masu and Cryogen make their way up to the top side of the map. Berserker gets that wave shoved up. We have 50 seconds until the Rift Herald spawns, so it looks like both teams are sort of playing around that positioning, that vision control right now.
Yeah, and we've seen Dokla kind of hovering between a few lanes now and not picking up farm. Looks like he'll be finally headed towards this top side, although 3 members of FlyQuest are already here.
Good push out on the wave from Dokes.
Yep.
Regardless, honestly, I like the lane assignments here, even though we're hyping up, oh yeah, so much magic resist on Gakkos, and Caitlyn here, headshots are going to hurt a little bit. It's not truly that much. Bottom lane, the rotation all the way down from Inspired, but the comms are here for FlyQuest. Talking about, hey, you are weak side, and we've got the trailing here from Griffin and Cryogen in time to counter.
Yeah, Griffin goes all the way in after Isles, dumps the Cataclysm, and forces the flash out of the Lion support.
Yeah, that was a really nice response from FlyQuest, recognizing where they kind of had to match with Cryogen and Griffin kind of in position to protect their victor.
Yeah, they got the topside Scuttle Crab. They don't want to like waste extra time going for Rift Herald. Instead, go for the reset, trail out through bottom lane, make the coverage play. The tower barely still standing for them on the bottom side, but not going to be the biggest of deal. And now they can just reset over to that Rift Herald, turn everything right back to the top side of the map.
Yep, and now they have better like protection, right? Because Cassante is going to be pushing in that topside wave, and Masu and Cryogen had already pushed out mid, and we'll see if Inspired and the rest of LYON want to challenge. TP coming in from Victor.
They absolutely are interested in this Rift Herald, but FlyQuest already have it down to 1,000 HP, and even though LYON decided to show up, they're showing up too late.
Yeah, they're showing up too late, and it was a nice TP from Quad, right? Because he's immediately on to Berserker. Getting out that laser to do some damage means that LYON can't really contest to that. And again, I like these kind of map movements that FlyQuest are making, continuing from some of these little tricks and lane assignments they did in Game 1.
Yeah, it does mean, yeah, you're going to sacrifice the end of the tower that's on bottom side, but again, the last bits of a tower aren't really what they used to be, since you get a lot of the gold progressively off
Plates
it.
are plates.
Yeah, and Dokla, obviously, you know, he just was the one to walk down bottom side to do that, so he's collecting the bot side outer tower and some plates off the secondary one, as well as saving his teleport.
Oh, Saint with the solo kill on the quad up here on the top side, but now Griffin's trying to get one back. Saint getting away for now. Isles creating space, and that allows Saint to get away. Nice outplay from LYON.
Yeah, outplay from Saint there in the 1v1. Isles there to protect his mid laner, kind of escort him out to keep Griffin from getting any sort of counter kill. And LYON pushing in on the mid wave a bit, kind of forcing Masu and Cryogen to respond.
Yeah, Saint was the one to burn Quad's flash earlier with that other ultimate that he used, so makes the big punish himself to do it. Gets the kill. Teleport now invested as well. Inspired starting it up.
Okay, remember, if LYON claim this, they're on Soul Point. Big dragon for them. However, FlyQuest have control over the bot side river for now. LYON's giving it up. They're saying we don't want to fight for this. FlyQuest going to take Drake.
Yeah, the early call there. They want to get the reset off first. So Dokla goes back, immediately Inspired, jumps off the dragon, and they call it off. Not good conditions.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense. They do have this kind of pushing bot wave that now FlyQuest have to respond to. They'd pushed in mid to try to get a little bit of damage on mid tier turret as well, and so now they'll be able to move in towards this top side of the map and potentially kind of set up for Saint to make a play on this tier 1 turret.
And their Caitlyn just had money for IE, so Berserker was probably like, yeah, let me go ahead and spend this real. I got a big old IE power spike right here. Now 2 items with the Hex Optics as well, so they call it off. Berserker just finishes the mid wave there, goes back, finishes IE, and next time LYON are going to fight it.
Yep. And Rift Herald summoned up in the mid lane.
Kerblam.
Masu should be able to clean this up.
Easy peasy. Griffin jumps in. EQ combo. Not going to find the target there, but they already got the tier 1, and that's what they came for. Meanwhile, topside, Saint tries to get away here with the Fate Sealed. Gakko's going in, flashes forward, wants the solo kill, but the third in Tofo strike does not connect. Gakko's going to miss out on that one.
Yeah, just barely misses on that, but here's Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin jumps in. Cataclysm immediately flashes on the other side of his own terrain, and the shutdown goes over to Cryogen. Meanwhile, Dokla just takes him out. That fish got caught 1 for 1 here in the top side.
Yeah, they teleport in the Anivia, and then they wall him off, so they still get a counter kill here.
Yeah, really nice coordination from Dokla and the rest of his team on this Anivia, and now Berserker is just right back in mid lane.
Dokla, you all right, bud? Gakko's going in, finds first in Tofo strike. Staying diligent for now, but nope, no way to chase further. FlyQuest can't find anything.
Yeah, he did have Isles there as well, who was kind of fainting up, and the Caitlyn, who had started to move. So LYON did have members in position to respond to that. Instead, it's going to be Berserker continuing to try to hammer up. TP coming in from behind.
Yeah, but that takes a long time to channel, and Berserker and Isles getting away for now. Gakko's trying to use his opportunity here with the teleport to make a play, but it was just too little, too late.
He does get the Caitlyn flash, though, which could be crucial for the next team fight and something that FlyQuest are definitely going to be tracking. But yeah, that was a nice, I mean, I actually really like going for that TP play, but as we see here is the attempted play onto Saint with Gakko's missing on that final in Tofo strike. Then Bubble missing Griffin, Griffin going in with the EQ combo and ult. Saint getting shut down accidentally by the Nami, but then that wall is so nice to set up for Caitlyn, ult, and Dokla picking up the kill.
And now Saint about to knock down this tier 1 turret. Gakko's having to back away. Inspired, Dokla and Saint coming in trying to make a move, but making moves on Cassante is pretty tough to do. So LYON's gonna back up after taking the objective.
Meanwhile, they are split pushing on the bottom side here, so Victor does get the wave into the bottom tower, and now they're trying to walk up. They do get pinged out going over wards, though, so Berserker's not going to get caught again this time in the extended lane. Him having no flash now, Dokla having no flash, and Saint having no flash after all these plays. All these carries on the side of LYON are possible targets here for FlyQuest, and they're making the rotations up to the top side.
Yep, looking for a play onto Dokla.
Dokla trying to make his recall. Griffin immediately with the smite to interrupt it, drops the Cataclysm. Aqua Prison misses. Griffin still in the middle of the Glacial Storm, but it does not matter. Dokla's egg is scrambled. Call it sunny side up. It don't matter. Shutdown credit goes over to Gakko.
Look at the 3 lanes of pressure, though, for LYON. You know, they all these carries, yeah, they don't have flashes, but they're all pushing. So even when FlyQuest, they're going to do a Baron off of it.
Oh, I think we can try Yone not to pick.
Okay, FlyQuest calling for it. They want the Baron. They're down about 3,000 gold. This would be a massive swing, and they got a 5v4 for the next 25 seconds. Meanwhile, Saint in the bottom lane, putting pressure onto the tier 3 turret. That means that FlyQuest have to take this Baron for this to be worthwhile. Bottom lane tier 3 turret already down to half HP. Baron about to be claimed. FlyQuest have it.
Yep. And you heard them recognizing that in their comps, right? They're like, you know what? Yone doesn't have TP. He can't respond to us. He's on the bot side. Was able to almost take down that inhibitor turret on the bot side of the map. And Caitlyn did end up cleaning up that tier 2 mid turret, as well as LYON is now actually going to be on Soul Point after. unless FlyQuest want to contest, but no. Yeah, so they're now going to be on Soul Point. So it's a bold call of FlyQuest to go for that Baron. However, it feels like LYON got way more on the map, Kobe.
Yeah, and even the call to go send multiple people up to kill the Anivia, because LYON, as we said, are pushing all 3 lanes, the cost for a commitment like that is very big. And being able to push down mid, like I want to start the gold tracker before Baron instead of a Baron power play gold tracker.
Yeah, you want to do the
whole sequence? I want to wind it back to when they decide to send everybody up to the top side. But we're going to see the siege now as they do have the Baron. See how much gold they can also get with this buff. Even though they did have to make payments to Caitlyn and to Yone pushing through mid and bottom lane, they're kind of getting compensation for those payments now.
Is this like investment tips with Kobe?
Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, more split push here. So every time, like LYON are pushing on the other side, Yone pushed up on the top side. Now they're trying to trap him even. You have Griffin, look at the mini map. He's already behind him. Saint's trying to wander his way out through the darkness.
Yeah, he's getting away for now, but hold on, Quad's gonna be found! Nice pick from LYON.
Who's ganking who here? Saint moves through the jungle in the cover of darkness, and they catch the straggler. As FlyQuest are trying to collapse, they are the ones that leave the vulnerable Victor there.
And I would be curious to actually see if we'd started pre-Baron power play, because now you see it's diminishing rapidly in that top left corner. But yeah, like again, this is also facilitated by the fact that LYON actually have quite good wave clear with the Anivia to kind of stymie and slow down a lot of potential siege from FlyQuest. And that was a really, really nice catch onto Quad as he walked over Vision. As we see Griffin clearing out his bot side and Cassante kind of trying to push up this bot wave. LYON immediately moving into the top side as their response.
Yeah, so LYON, because they got that dragon and all of the extra gold here, looking ahead at their Dragon Soul setup, only 2.5 minutes is for themselves, and you have tons of pick. And again, if the Caitlyn lane can get there early, you have a lot of danger for FlyQuest approach. Caitlyn traps.
Stepping on those traps is not feeling good.
And then Caitlyn and Anivia as a combo just makes it so difficult to approach fights.
It's really annoying. Yeah.
All right, LYON, 2.5 minutes until Dragon, a little bit under 3 minutes until Baron, setting up shop around the topside river for now. Gakko's just clearing a path through it there with the Cassante, knowing that he's the one who has to get rid of this terrain ownership from LYON.
Yeah, the path maker. Perfect.
It lives up to the name.
Perfect ability name right there, right through the Caitlyn traps. They force their way in. They do get the end of the secondary tower here, but of course we are all really looking at the setup for the Dragon Soul fight, especially when you know the Nico surprise and the Sejuani engage are terrifying.
Yeah, and thanks to our stats guy, Liam, we actually had the gold difference at 22 for LYON was 1.9k. Post Baron buff, LYON was a plus 2.9k, so they did get a cool 1k off of that investment you pointed out, Kobe.
But hold on, Gakko's coming in here with a TP, going after Saint. LYON got to outplay this. Fate sealed from Saint, trying to get himself away, but now he's stunned up, locked up, beat down. Gakko's grabbing the kill as FlyQuest continue looking for more. Griffin drops the Cataclysm, but nobody on LYON's going to be caught here just yet until Gakko's goes in even further. Third and Topo strike. They've already found the shutdown on the Berserker, and FlyQuest find their moment.
The Nami wave following the Cassante in for that huge knockback coming out of Gakko's. We talked about how he has to be the front line for FlyQuest to get anything done. He's the one stepping on the Caitlyn traps. He's the one here going forward, getting down that CC with the Nami wave kind of trailing behind him. Really nice fight from FlyQuest.
Yeah, man, I mean, we talked a long time about Gakkos on tanks versus Gakkos on carries. I guess
both?
You could
Cassante
split hairs.
is a tank and a carry.
Yeah, you could split hairs, and you could say Cassante is also a carry just because, you know, meme on the champion. But he's
that would move
picture.
him down.
We had got his picture up there with the tanks, and he is smurfing. He is making K'Sante look about as broken as ever. FlyQuest, what a really good trap play on the side. Really good attack in the side lane there. Big benefits, and now it sets them up for great positioning on the approach to Dragon Soul.
Exactly. That's the thing, is the Dragon Soul is only just now spawning. It was desynced from when they made the play, so they got to make another one now. But the problem is, Masu's already down. It doesn't matter what you get, it matters when you get it. And now Gakkos is under pressure. LYON, they find their fight when they need it. Berserker's already got the kill on the Gakkos. That's 4 dead on FlyQuest. I don't care if you find a pick, if you don't get anything. I care if you get something after. And LYON just won the game.
And now they're barreling down mid. What a great combo. The Yone, the Anivia walls laying down. We talked about how good Dokla has been on this Anivia in team fights, and now LYON are looking to close out this game.
Yeah, Griffin's just doing some slop right now, trying to waste some time, but it's not going to matter. Look, that's what it is, all right?
Slop. We're always slopping here.
You ult 1v5, that's all you can do. It don't matter none. Dokla might go into the egg. Who cares? Masu revives, only to die once again. Ladies and gentlemen, LYON are going to take game 2, 29 minutes in. We are going to game number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the last best of 3 of the regular split here in spring 2026. It's LYON versus FlyQuest, and we are going the distance, Kobe and Emily, as we had FlyQuest win game number 1, we had LYON win game number 2. They're clearly both here to play.
I feel like my match of the week now has delivered 2 times.
You've been doing a good job.
2 for 3,
Well,
I think.
well. Good
Claiming
choices,
something
Emily.
as yours.
So, Emily, which top laner would you choose, though? Because they're switching back Castle in, so that means that Big Dokes, his win streak is going to stay alive. It's going to stay intact here, and they're going to put Castle back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what they got.
Maybe they just want, like, you know, to keep the win streak alive.
So they're a little nervous?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, you want to
honestly,
protect it.
The analyst did touch on it a little bit at the beginning of the day, but for LYON here, you know, it's not an important series.
Yeah.
So they could also use it as, hey, we really want to make a 6-person roster effective, and so we want to keep switching and trying more things and really trying it out so that we'll have a good feeling for it when we do get to playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think even from, and obviously champion choice matters here, they did say that he was kind of forced into the Rise, which wasn't something they'd practiced with him last week. But in game 1, despite the loss, he did look a lot more coordinated and cohesive with the team. He had some really nice frontlining plays. So, you know, I don't think it's a bad idea, right? Because the worst thing that happens is you lose, but you're still in a really good position going into playoffs, and you still get the practice with Castle, who you really do want to integrate into this lineup.
Okay, Ashe is still up and available. They banned the Seraphine, of course, along with the Varus. And so putting a little bit more priority towards these 80 carries.
Meanwhile, on the FlyQuest side, it's all about those semi-global ultimates. The Bard, the Twisted Fate, the Pantheon, all banned away. They do not want to deal with side lane pressure. That tells me FlyQuest is probably going to try to play a big team fight composition. And sure enough, their first pick of the draft is the Pocket Lulu. They gotta have a hyper carry in mind here.
Yeah, and Berserker, sorry. I was thinking it was on the LYON side, so I was going to say Berserker excels at hyper carries, but Masu is no slouch either. I'd be really curious to see then what they would be going with on the top side to see if they do have a frontliner or if they'll leave that up to Griffin potentially in the jungle. As we see the Yunara hover, taking that away from Masu, kind of decoupling this Yunara Lulu that we've seen. Although I will say, I do believe Yunara Lulu still has a pretty low win rate in LCS, and hilariously enough, the team that's been able to excel on it the most is LYON because of the way Berserker and Isles have been able to pilot it.
Yeah, I think that Lulu pairs better with other carries than Yunara pairs well with other supports, but LYON say, I don't care. We have Berserker. We have
Berserker is too good.
Have you checked the nameplates? We've got Yunara, and they say Rakan is a fine substitute here.
Okay.
Of course, you know, FlyQuest had jumped on the Lulu. They first pick it. They think that is a priority as well. And Lulu can be played with Ashe. It can also be played with Jinx and other hyper carries too. So they have the wide range of options. You could go for the utility option or still match hyper carry here for yourselves as well. And they're the ones, because LYON double lock for their bottom lane, they do get that Rumble that was hovered here into the hands of Gakos, which he is extremely comfortable on.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely one of his comfort picks. And now I will be curious to see if they do choose their AD here, or if they choose another role and kind of leave it up to whatever LYON is going to presumably take off the table. But no, that is a hyper carry locked in. It is the Aphelios for Masu and the Lulu for Cryogen down that bottom.
Another Masu favorite champion here, the Aphelios. And your level 1 is really good, obviously with Green Gun here. So it's one of the champions that is fairly frequently picked into Yunara because of the level 1. Yunara, obviously the Q is very powerful, but with Green Gun, Aphelios can combat, and you do have the Lulu here. So I like the look from FlyQuest. Meanwhile, Aurora is so good into the Rumble here, and Castle has been given the counter pick. Technically flex, you could flex it away, but it is so good into the Rumble that you definitely don't need to.
I am also making the assumption it's probably going into the top lane just because it isn't a counter pick. However, we've seen both Saint and Castle have really strong Aurora games. In particular, Saint's Aurora really sticks out in my mind as something he is just super comfortable on. So if they do want to flex that into the mid lane, they can potentially keep FlyQuest guessing, as we see the Rise banned out from FlyQuest side, kind of continuing that we do not want you to have any sort of global potential around the map to kind of keep LYON pinned down a little bit more.
Yeah, I believe it was during LYON's first split when he dropped like a 20 kill Aurora game and they lost the game and still lost the game. But he was putting in work, and they are continuing to ban mid laners here. So the Rise ban, obviously Castle did play it when they flexed that one top as well. And so they're banning that as another flex pick ban.
Okay, so we got Rise, Cassiopeia, Xin Zhao banned out here in the second half. FlyQuest still has one more ban to go, as both sides obviously have their bottom laner and support locked in. And most likely, top laners, again, Aurora is the flex, so we will give them that grace. But I would bet that that's where it's going. Wukong, final ban here at the draft.
Yeah, we saw contracts with a pretty strong Wukong yesterday, and he was talking about the buffs being a bit bigger than people kind of suspected. The extra attack speed, of course, is kind of big focus there for him for the early stages, but not going to be an option as far as the team fighting junglers, and so you're going to have to go a different route here. The point and click of the Vi whenever you're playing against hyper carries. Get the guaranteed engage, and since you already have Aurora and Rakan on your team, it's not as dangerous as some scenarios. If you're locking Vi really early in a draft and you're kind of unsure about what the enemy team's going to have for counters, but you have a Rakan to dive with you and an Aurora to put extra pressure, so it's not like, oh, we're diving into an Aphelios and then he gets to point blank like mow us down. No, if you're diving on him, he has to deal with Vi ulti and Rakan and burst damage from Aurora, so it's going to even be hard for him to survive, even with a Lulu on his team. Hey, we get
the Griffin Nasus. He's had some insane performances on this. And yeah, I am very curious to see how FlyQuest end up playing this out because it is a favorite of his, and it looks like they'll be rounding out their composition with the Annie Moore CC to kind of set up, again, for your hyper carry really, really fun to see Griffin pulling this one out.
And the best part of picking Nasus here is to counter not the enemy jungle, but Yunara. Wither on Yunara is like giving you negative Lulu. So not only do you
Negative Lulu.
you don't have the Lulu already because they
But
first
now
picked
you
it.
extra don't have a
And
Lulu.
yeah, now you have negative Lulu.
+1 Lulu versus -1 Lulu. It's the Lulu.
Yeah, so Wither here is very, very annoying for Yunara to deal with if he can get it on the Yunara, of course. So do like that pick here for Griffin, and obviously he has spammed this. It's been a controversial as well, but he has put a lot of work into the jungle Nasus. He's been rewarded for it in other games, and this is going to be a super fun one. FlyQuest trusting in their flavor, trusting in their picks that they really like. You know, Masu really does favor the Aphelios, of course. Also was always, heavily picked into Yunara, but Griffin also favoring his Nasus, trusting in themselves. You like to see it with the young squad.
Yeah, and then as we see Lion locking in that Yorick for Castle, going to try to be able to, set up in a side lane and kind of take over there. You already pointed out, Kobe, but I do really love how FlyQuest are continuing to default to what they are good at, certain picks that they believe that their players are good at, and also just relying on kind of their belief in themselves, right, to be able to pull this kind of stuff out.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting one. The finale to our series here.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
The rematch, FlyQuest and a Lion, and we do get Griffin on his jungle Nasus. We also, though, because of that flex swap that we were talking about, and they do end up going to Yorick for Castle instead, Saints Aurora. He had some very, very big carry Aurora games. As you said, Emily, he's definitely one of his champions that he feels comfortable on too, so comfort on both sides.
Yeah, when I think of LCS Auroras, his name is one of the names that immediately comes to mind, right? Just because he's had so much success on that pick, and you kind of already covered how Aurora can be a bit of a pseudo diver along with something like the Vi and the Rakan, but as we see Griffin's jungle Nasus tweet.
Yeah, and so he put in a lot of time early on it, in solo queue, was grinding it up, and then we did get, Forrest within answering him and being like, yo, just play Pantheon, bro, play some meta champs first. And Griffin, of course, did play Pantheon then and had a lot of success with that too, but has also had success with some of these things that he put a lot of time into solo queue playing them as well, working at it. And trying to also convince other people to do it. He's not quiet about it.
Yeah.
He's been very loud about it.
He's like, why don't you come to my side and try the Nasus?
That was a lot of words. I'm not reading any of it, but, I like the fact that he's playing some Nasus. That's cool for sure. Roo, 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 play the dog. Anyway, Griffin and his opponent in Inspired on the Vi, a much more traditional pick, both starting in their top quadrants of the jungle, pathing their way towards the bottom side of the map. And that bottom side of the map, we expect it to be a little bit spicy. We've got the Yunara and the Rakan versus Aphelios and Lulu, and Masu and Cryogen have the push so far.
Yeah, and as we see, Inspired could potentially look for something after pathing down and going through his bot side camps, and the Nasus following suit. I believe they do know where each other started at the very least. As we take a look at, I thought Masu and Cryogen might go in for something there, but they did not. But yeah, I will be curious. I think we'll see a little bit less early jungle intervention than we did in the previous game, where everyone was just like full bot lane party, especially with the Nasus kind of wanting to, get some stacks in there first.
Yeah, Nasus wants the stack, and Vi wants level 6. So they're looking for farm. They're looking to stay efficient, and that lets the hyper carries play down here. And Masu and Cryogen have forced the early back here for Isles as they're pushing the minion wave in. Junglers get some vision of each other here towards the grab. Inspired runs away after getting withered and says, fine, your bottom lane is also pushing. There's no way I'm chasing you down there. I'll just go take the top one.
Yep.
Exactly. The bottom lane is pushing, plus Wither is so strong, the level 4 Vi doesn't want to deal with the level 3 Nasus because it's such a powerful debuff, so Inspired just heads up to the top side of the river to claim that crab. grab. Now, before the game, we heard Satan Inspired discussing the player of the game results.
Yo, how you get POG?
I carried you. What?
Sure?
Yes.
Even CS?
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Really?
Yeah, if I pick Victoria, did you see the I play with the Palafox and Palafox GG under tier 2?
Palafox? Okay. That's enough information.
Yeah, he's Palafaker, bro.
No, it's not Palafaker.
Not anymore.
No.
Okay.
Wow!
That's enough information.
I always love the discussions, but look, bot lane.
Yeah, down here on the bottom side, Berserker is under some pressure. Isles the same. There's first blood over to Masu, and he and Cryogen win out in the 2v2.
And the thing that set that up is actually they were able to blow Flash a little bit earlier onto Cryogen, or onto Isles rather, when he had to flash out. So he didn't have flash available, and this is kind of the strength that we see from Lulu, and not only why she's so good in team fights, but also she used to be such a strong, powerful mid lane pick way back in the day. Yes, I know I'm old. But she pushes so hard as well. So not only does she buff hyper carries, but in this lane, she's going to be able to help get push with the Aphelios. There, they were able to blow Isles' flash early and then get a kill in that 2v2.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Tibbers dropped by Quad, trying to push Saint back a little bit while Quad has that level 6 versus level 5 advantage.
Yeah, and again, even when Yunara was at her peak earlier in release, still picking the Aphelios into it, and Masu really definitely a specialist there too. So loving the 2v2 confidence and getting the kill. Honestly, I thought they were going to get both. I thought they were going to get both kills there with Cryogen flash forward too, but he couldn't quite get Berserker. And it is good that he didn't steal that kill, and Masu did get the first blood. So very, very big for the bottom lane to get the early priority, because it lets you stack dragons really easily. And Nasus wants a calm, controlled game.
Yeah.
When he can count on his bottom lane getting 2v2 kill like that, he can just keep clearing, stacking up, get dragons, get more stacks off the dragons as well.
Can he bonk it? Hold on, let's see if he bonks it. Look, I want to see if he gets the bonk.
Yeah.
Wait, no, hold on.
It doesn't move. He's not going to move.
Okay, sometimes they mess it up. Sometimes they mess it up. I'm just making sure. He got the bonk. Okay.
Didn't believe in him.
And I will say, I want to really hit home too on this jungle Nasus, because it is the first jungle Nasus since 2013 in the LCS, and globally since 2014.
Yeah. And that was Saint Vicious in 2013 Summer Playoff.
Yeah, of course people saw him do it in the EWC qualifiers though, but definitely very big here.
Whoa, Inspired with a full send, going in for the dive after Matsu, and that Aphelios is gone. Cryogen's gonna join him. A double kill, both of them going to Berserker.
Huge play from Inspired to get Berserker back into the game, right? Like, Berserker is so good. We've seen him excel on Yunara. We've seen him excel on Zeri. Something is also very similar to the Yunara in the way you want to team fight with her. Really nice lane gank coming in. Flash, Vi ult to get that double kill onto Berserker.
Remember that play for then the next comms listen in. If in this game Berserker goes like 15 kills and he's like, why did you get player of the game? And then Inspired says, remember that gank? I carried you. I got you your first 2 kills.
Exactly.
But yeah, really good Vi timing here. He got his level 6, goes in for the lane gank as you're highlighting. They know there's no wards here, so Q into the lane, flash for the range. And this is what we said from Champ Select. It's not just one diver.
Yeah.
Rakan is such a good dive partner for Vi. You can guarantee the ult.
Nice. Really good. Well play.
That was good play by them. It's fine. Game is still.
Yeah,
It was a good play by
It was a good play by him.
Yeah.
Game is still playable. Masu with some moves here as the bottom lane's still fighting. But yeah, both teams recognizing the good play, good timing there, and it's not over. Still very, very much playable here. I mean, they still have the gold lead generally and have the extra dragon.
And Griffin is now here for a little wraparound gank. I do not believe they saw him.
Yep, here comes the dog. There's the Wither on Berserker's Yunara. Wham, bam, right
on top of the head. The cane strikes true, and that's FlyQuest tying up the kills.
I love watching people that love playing Aphelios. Masu with the perfect guns here.
Yep.
He hits the ult, he gets the purple gun root, he gets the snipe follow-up as well.
Dracos, I know you're out there somewhere appreciating it.
He swaps over, you know, the utility out of purple gun and green gun right here, and the damage with the snipe there. Very, very nice. Masu putting in a lot of work, and Griffin collecting on that work. Thank you very much for my kill for my jungle Nasus.
Yeah, he's off to a nice little start. I said that we weren't going to get a lot of jungle interaction early. I was completely wrong. That was not true at all.
We got some spice.
We're still having a lot of bot lane parties down here. And again, just really nice to see we kind of set up this matchup between Griffin and Inspired, kind of the new blood coming in, learning from someone as storied and as good as Inspired is. And Griffin has really, really shown up in this series. I think he's had a pretty good series, and also just seeing them go like punch for counterpunch for extra counterpunch in the bot lane has been really fun.
Yeah, NA producing some good young junglers here to try and
Younglers.
Some younglers to
I
challenge
like
Inspired.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the bottom lane, again, the focus here really paying off. It was focused basically all series long, but they still all have their flashes. Even with these kills coming through, and because the jungle ganks have basically
Everybody's just like, well, I'm dead.
Exactly, so the plays are still available to be made down here.
True. And now, I mean, currently, LYON have kind of pushed up a bit, and we'll see that kind of push and pull between the Drake vision, because, you know, these games have been, like, early Drake stacking has been very crucial for both teams.
The dog has his collar. The protoplasm harness is built. He's ready to go on a walk. You can bring him on the sidewalk now. He's ready.
Nice.
And the Vi has a Sundered Sky too, and he's eyeballing a Rumble top. That's about to get domed.
Let's see if it works. Here he goes. Immediately Inspired diving in there. Castle trying to follow it up, but Gakos gets away.
Yep.
Meanwhile, back in mid, Quad now under pressure. Isles rotates over to mid lane, finds the quickness with the grand entrance. They're going to give the kill over to Saint. He needs one more spell.
Yep.
There it is. Saint takes the kill.
Really nice little roam up from Isles on the Rakan, getting that kill onto Saint. We kind of talked about how Kobe, the Rakan, and the Vi work really well together. That was great setup for the burst damage that Saint is already able to do currently, and now he is going to be locking in his rocket belt in potentially a situation to set up for Drake, although Nasus is already on it.
Yeah, I mean, this bot lane pressure of the Lulu Aphelios is so reliable for Griffin and for FlyQuest. He's going to continue to play off of it. Come on down here. Even after this successful mid lane kill for LYON, FlyQuest still staying focused on their game plan. Continue stacking the dragons. Isles does block the ult interruption, but does it cost him his life now?
Isles in danger, flashes away to survive. I mean, he'll stay alive, but that's a summoner spell down, as now Griffin in enemy territory finds the Wither onto Saint. Inspired is over the wall, ready to maybe join in here with the Vault Breaker, but Quad is also rotating over. Here comes Cryogen. Saint is in danger. Griffin continuing to charge forward. The dog is a boss. He's in charge of the jungle.
Yeah, he's got a sheen on top of his protoplasm, so you get some extra bonk on those bonks.
I love it when I have a sheen on top of my protoplasm. That's great.
And he's also, I mean, this is
quite the image.
Wait, what is the sheen? Like, if the protoplasm is the collar, what is the sheen? If we're
it's a little name tag that says Nasus in all caps. It's shiny because a sheen is a shine, right?
It does shine.
Yeah.
Right.
It glimmers in the sunlight.
I like it. I like it.
That's why I like it.
But yeah, I do, as Isles kind of sees what he can do. He might be caught out, but no.
Well, what he can do is try to get away from the dog.
Mikhail's.
Griffin chasing after him. He just needs one more Wither. Isles popping the quickness for move speed to get away, and it will successfully get him out of harm's way.
Yeah. He went on a little journey there. But I really love how FlyQuest have been playing, again, around this bot lane, getting the early Drake stacking, getting Nasus into a really good position, and also having a really great setup for the Aphelios going forward. As Inspired's going to take a peek at the red buff, and Griffin's just going to be able to clean it up.
God, isn't the audio with Wither is just so impressive, isn't it?
It makes you feel like you're withering.
That is very impressive. And then whenever it gets cast on you, you just feel sad. For
Dude, it actually feels like your computer is running slower
Yeah.
because your character just barely can step forward.
Makes me feel like I'm shriveling into a husk.
Well, up here on the top side, Castle trying to fight back against
Whoa.
Quad, goes ahead, drops the Dark Procession, and Quad dies. Castle grabs himself that solo kill, but now Griffin is ready to try and
Inspired
clean
here.
one up. Castle staying alive for now, gets himself away. Inspired shows up, and he's like, you know what, dude? I'll see you later. Goodbye. Griffin makes it a 1-for-1.
Yeah, Griffin says, get that shovel away from my mid laner. He bonks down my mid laner, so I'm going to go get the counter kill here and flashes for it. The shovel falls to the cane.
That's a classic matchup right there. Stick
Yeah.
versus a shovel. Back in Ohio, you got to learn to use both.
It did also, I do wonder if Quad,
Saint
As
coming in
we
now.
see.
The dog is in trouble. It's a little bit of animal abuse here in the top side river, but Griffin is ready to turn it around. This dog is rabid and he's barking. Decane over the head. Griffin going on a killing spree as Inspired falls. Gakko shows up here with the teleport. Saint is forced away, and FlyQuest come out on top.
And Griffin just got enough mana to be able to use a Q to get the kill there, so you get more stacks too. That feels perfect.
this is great for FlyQuest because now they're on Herald. Gakkos is going to be able to push in this top side. Really, really nice collapse from Fly. They were already headed up to protect that Nasus. That Nasus is taking over the game.
This Nasus that Griffin has been preaching to the world for months is finally on the LCS stage dominating.
Yeah.
Rift Herald slain. FlyQuest, they're up 2,000 gold. They've got both Drakes so far. They've got themselves the Rift Herald. They're owning.
Yep, and here we see Inspired and Saint think they get this catch onto Griffin, but here are Cryogen and Masu. So Lulu ult comes down, saves Griffin. Inspired tries to go directly onto Masu to do some damage onto him. They clean him up, and then really nice kind of teleport from Gakkos coming around for a potential collapse as they're onto Castle.
Uh-oh, that Yorick is not long for this world. Quad denies Griffin the stack, but if that's your biggest problem on FlyQuest, you're doing pretty well. Another kill over to them, 5-4.
Meanwhile, they're trying to interrupt topside. Gakkos, though, playing respectfully, backs all the way off. Weak side rumble here. Nice job from him. His team makes the play on the opposite side. Doesn't give anything back to Lion.
Berserker.
Yeah.
He's withered. FlyQuest trying to force down the tier 1 turret. They're at least going to grab the plate. Rift Herald charges in, guarantees the kill on the objective.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if Isles was going to potentially go for a flank, but with Herald dropped, FlyQuest are kind of able to just force their way in, clean up that tier 1 in mid. Saint will be able to answer potentially with this next wave. Getting all that money onto the Aurora should be good for Lion. However, immediately, FlyQuest on this Drake, once again, really, really quick Drake stacking.
Yep.
And that is going to force Lion to contest them next on the Soul.
Exactly, and that Soul, Emily, 22 minutes into the game, I don't care if it's a Chemtech Soul. I don't care if it's the Fart Dragon. That thing is still strong.
I love that you called it the Fart Dragon. Lion looking for another potential play onto Gakkos up here, and he is...
Hold on.
No.
Isles, you all right, brother? Doesn't look like he's all right. The Moonlight Vigil seals his fate, and Griffin, yet again, this Nasus is a real problem. Griffin going forward once more, pops the ulti, goes after Castle. Remember, the Nasus Q has like a 0.5 second cooldown when he's in ulti mode, and Castle just learned it the hard way.
Decane wins again.
Yes, sir.
He's out of control.
Where's Trick 2G at? Somebody get Trick 2G on the phone.
Over a 2K gold lead, Boots of Swiftness just running around wherever he pleases. now he can apply another slow in, okay, he undoes his purchase of the Iceborne to opt for the Dead Man's instead, because all he needs to do is get in range of somebody.
Yeah.
To get the extra move speed, just get in range of him, and he's clobbering time.
They're definitely getting clobbered. FlyQuest with a 4,000 gold lead and on Soul Point. What does LYON do from here? How do you stabilize?
You have to hope for a really good team fight where Berserker and Saint are able to pop off. Because right now, like, it's pretty much how do you stop this Nasus? And even if you are able to stop the Nasus, that probably means that Masu is also untouched, right? And this Aphelios, we've already seen him be able to do a lot of damage. He has Hex Optics. He has Infinity Edge for this next fight. So he is also in a really good position.
Yeah, it's huge because you have to deal with that threat. That big damage output has to be dealt with, and then the dog is just running around wherever he pleases.
The dog is barking top lane. He's ripping the throat out of the Yorick. Griffin is crazy right now. This dog is unleashed. Somebody get him under control. Put a collar on him. It ain't gonna work. He puts the wither onto Isles. The dog is barking and nobody's safe.
Dude, he can even chase down a Rakan?
Yeah.
Like, that's the mobility here of Nasus. Well, it's the anti-mobility of the Wither, but holy, after watching this, you're thinking, why didn't everybody listen to Griffin earlier?
Exactly.
Hold on, Masu under pressure. LYON doing a full send, and they find the Aphelios, but now Griffin off to the side. Quad arrives here with the TP. Inspired under pressure now. It's a 1-for-1 so far. It's about to be a 2-for-1. Even when LYON gets something, FlyQuest get more. 20 minutes hit the clock, and FlyQuest hit the Baron.
Yeah, they get Masu, but at what cost? FlyQuest immediately able to collapse. Griffin now godlike 7-0-2 on this Nasus, completely taking over the game. And because Berserker was so far up in that, they were actually able to clean him up pretty well. LYON's kind of only recourse is to get this tier 1 mid onto Saint, but its objective bounties are falling off actually because of that turret. But FlyQuest are in such a great position now, and you can see how hard it is for LYON to make a proactive play. Even there, FlyQuest were so quick to collapse.
I don't know about you, but I'm just looking forward to the Griffin tweet after this and the Griffin interview.
It's going to be nonsensical.
Yeah. But you know what I'm not looking forward to is people playing more jungle Nasus.
You don't want that in your
Solo
solo games? You don't want to play that on ladder?
I already talked about how it feels like you're shriveling into a husk when that Nasus gets on you, you know?
Oh, yeah, you're an AD carry player, aren't you?
Yeah, it just like sits on you, and it's just...
Well, he's found Castle. The nice part, here's the nice part about Nasus, Emily. He does not have hard CC, so you can teleport away from him.
It would be really unfair if he did. But also, as AD, I'm not usually taking TP.
So you can leave once with one of the longest cooldowns in the game.
Yep, that's the saving grace.
Nice.
Yep, that's your out. Spring Finals, June 13th and 14th, Mullet Arena over in Tempe, Arizona. Go ahead and reserve your tickets for that one. That's where we're going to be heading, as Masu's heading straight back to the graveyard there, as LYON at least find themselves yet another pick onto the enemy. Aphelios 2, 3, and 5 there for Masu, but that's not really the scoreline I'm looking at, Kobe and Emily. I am looking at that 7-0-2 dog there in the jungle, causing a ruckus so far in this game.
Yeah, it's not. However, it does set up a situation where FlyQuest might not contest for this Drake, although...
Yeah, Gakkos has had to flash away, but now LYON has taken a ton of damage. Equalizer already dropped, Inspired down to below half HP. FlyQuest still posturing here, as Masu is about to respawn. Griffin running forward, but the dog is losing a lot of HP. LYON trying to burst him down, but Inspired is already dead. Griffin continues chasing. Berserker about to die. A double kill. Back over to the jungler on FlyQuest. Griffin is really shining here in this game 3.
And they're not even done. Castle gets cleaned up too. But you know what? The Lulu's not for the Aphelios hyper carry, it's for the Nasus hyper carry!
That Nasus is going crazy. That is Chemtech Soul before 23 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, my friends. There has never been a better moment to be the president of the Vi Hater Club. I am so vindicated. I am so justified. I am so righteous right now. Vi has nothing to bring to the table against this Nasus.
Yeah, I mean, like Griffin definitely is going to feel vindicated with this Nasus performance here.
Ooh, Inspired jumping in once more, going after Masu. They target the Aphelios, they get the kill, but it's already a 1-for-1 and it's about to get worse. LYON loses 3 every single time. They kill Aphelios, that's the name of the game.
Yep.
Kill Aphelios, lose the team fight. That's it for LYON as FlyQuest barrel down the mid lane.
And Griffin's on to Saint.
He's going further. He has the Wither. He's trapped in the cage. He doesn't. You cannot cage the dog. He will get out of the crate.
He has 666 stacks for his
Oh my
Q
God,
right
he
now.
does.
It is an
That's
unholy
amazing.
procession here for FlyQuest. LYON are saying their prayers and trying to get away, but the dog won't let them.
Comps like this are so scary. I'm so happy you called out that the Lulu was actually for the Nasus, because it just reminds me of, and I know I'm like dating myself, but there was this Doinby game where he played Maokai mid because he was like, oh yeah, it counters Victor, Maokai mid. And so
When
they were
was this?
thinking,
Was this back in like the
well,
2-8
it was
2014 era?
It was during Juggermaw era.
Oh.
And so they thought, they were like, okay, well, we'll just do Jugger Tree with Lulu and old Maokai. It was absolutely heinous. He did not die.
Sometimes heinous stuff works in League of Legends. You can see it right now, 9-0
And you
and
know
3.
what? Yeah, he's up to 705 stacks. He has not died. It's really hard to see a world where he will die in this game.
And he built the Sheen, and he was like, you know what? This is good enough. I don't need a Trinity Force. I don't
like
need an
the
Iceborne.
original.
Yep, just give me this cheap, crappy item. I just need to make my stick hit harder.
Yeah, just a little. It's a little more shiny.
My stick needs to be sticky, and that's all that matters. Other than that, he's building tank. He's got Spirit Visage for the extra healing and shielding. He's got Dead Man's Plate for the extra speed. He's got Frozen Heart now to even slow down Berserker, the only person that could possibly threaten him. Somebody's... LYON right now is trying to find the number for the dog pound. They need to lock this guy up, and they can't do it.
He's up pretty much 5K right now over Inspired.
I mean, yeah, I'm just straight up going to call that 5K. I don't care about 4.9.
Yeah.
That's 5K.
We're rounding up. We learned to round up in math class.
And this is, remember, when we heard from Inspired, when they played against FlyQuest back in lock-in, he was talking about how he respects the way that Griffin sees the game. He thinks that Griffin has the right idea. He just had the wrong execution. Turns out the execution's looking pretty good now.
Yeah, and outside of like, yes, he's obviously super comfortable on this Nasus pick. Yes, it's been something that he's been saying is really strong, especially in certain situations that other people potentially should be playing. Another thing I do want to point out is his attention to bot side. His responses, not just in this game, but across the entire series, where they were doing a really good job tracking Inspired, right? And so it's also in his kind of micro decision making that Inspired was calling out as being like, okay, you have the right idea, maybe not the right execution. In these games, it feels like he's been executing a lot more on these kind of more minute plays. And he's done a really, really good job of keeping track of what Inspired wants to do.
He's gonna two-shot Saint.
Saint just loses more than half of himself.
Yeah, Saint had to use the ulti, had to use the flash, gets himself away for now. Quad staying alive, LYON trying to make the move on the enemy mid laner, but now they are caught between a rock and a hard place. Inspired barely staying alive as Castle is soaking damage from Masu. FlyQuest now camping the TP arrival from Saint, and remember, this is an Aurora with no ulti, no flash. He's just food, man. The dog is eating good.
I mean, it's just the victory lap here for Griffin. Vindication for his long journey trying to preach the power of Jungle Nasus.
And now FlyQuest are marching towards Nexus turrets. It is a 5v3 for the next 30 seconds. They've made their way there. LYON scrambling, trying to defend, but it will not matter. Griffin and the rest of FlyQuest will rise to the occasion and defeat LYON 2-1 in the last best of 3 of the regular split.